Let's make in Blender these viral 3D keychain animations like Sayphurr. In this beginner-friendly Blender tutorial, I will show you the easiest hacks to create custom 3D text, clean models, and a workflow you can reuse for any keychain animation. After that, we will level everything up with clean lighting and realistic materials, and finish it with a dope animation. If you want eye-catching Blender animations, this is your upgrade. All you need for the project is linked in the description.
3D objects.
First we are creating the Kirby text. The finished SVG is already inside the Patreon folder, but I still want to quickly show you the workflow. Just Google a logo in black and white or generate a custom text using ChatGPT. Now we need to convert that image into an SVG so Blender can turn it into real geometry. For that, I'm using Adobe free online SVG converter. Just drag the image in, convert it, and download the SVG. Back in Blender, drag and drop the SVG into the scene. We only need the letters, so delete everything else. Now give the letters a bit of depth using the extrude value. And hide the star for now. Convert all letters to a mesh and join them together. Delete the black SVG material, we don't need it. This keeps everything clean. Go into the edit mode and select the sharp edges, holding Shift and Alt. Press P to separate the selection, switch back to object mode, and convert the outline into a curve. Now increase the depth and raise the resolution until the outline looks smooth. To give it more presence, slightly scale it on the Z-axis. If some curves look uneven, select the points in the edit mode, right-click, and decimate the vertices. Quick and clean fix. Now duplicate the outline, increase the depth value and scale it slightly to create a layer look. Now convert both outlines separately to meshes, shade them smooth, and clean up the geometry using a decimate modifier. Reduce the segments until everything looks even. Now we want to round the edges of the Kirby text. But first save the file, it's important. Add a remesh modifier and lower the voxel size until the surface looks clean and round. Apply the modifier and switch to sculpt mode. Select the smooth brush, enable symmetry on the y-axis so we can smooth the front and back at the same time. Repeat the same workflow for the star. Add a torus that we'll later use as the chain connector. The Kirby font is done. Now let's create the Kirby. We start simple. Add a sphere for the body. The segments and the rings should be high for a clean result later. Duplicate the sphere for the arms, stretch them slightly and position them on both sides. For the feet, add another sphere and set the segments to 16 and the rings to 12. Delete half of the sphere in the edit mode. Switch to the edge selection and hold Alt to make a loop selection. And press F to fill. Now use the bevel tool to round the edges. Increase the segments value to make them smooth. In the object mode, adjust the feet to match the image and shade everything smooth. Now we create the mouth. Add the cube and give it a subdivision surface modifier. Then add a simple deform modifier. Switch there to taper and y-axis. After it, adjust the angle value until the shape fits the reference and shade it smooth. Now add the boolean modifier to the body and insert the mouth under object. Hide the mouth object to create the hole. Then duplicate the object and reuse it as the tongue. Before we continue, let's clean up the body. Select the arms and the body. Convert them to a mesh and join them together. Save the file again. Add a remesh modifier and change the voxel size. Apply the modifier, switch to sculpt mode, and smooth out rough areas. Now let's create the eyes. Add a cube, add a subdivision surface, and shape it directly on the body. To project it perfectly onto the surface, add a shrink wrap modifier and set the body as target. For the highlights and cheeks, duplicate the eyes, scale them down, and slightly increase the offset in the shrink wrap modifier.
Hi!
Add another torus for the chain connection and the Kirby model is done. Now let's move on to the keychain. We start with the keyring. Add a circle with 64 vertices and go into edit mode. Delete 3 points to open the shape. Select everything by pressing the A key. Use the extrude along normals tool and extrude the object. After it, repeat it a second time. Switch now to the edge selection. Select the edges and use the bevel tool to give the ring thickness. Duplicate the shape and delete one part. Select the open edges, right-click and choose Bridge Edge Loops. Go back to object mode, add the subdivision modifier and shade it smooth. For the chain, add the torus and adjust its size until it looks like a real metal ring. Duplicate and rotate it to build the chain. And at this point, we are done with the 3D object part. Do you want this project file? It's available on my Patreon. There you will get access to over 70 Blender project files. Thank you for your support.
Lighting.
Now split the viewport and switch to viewport shading number 4. First, the base lighting with an HDRI. Switch to the shader editor and change in the world mode. Add an environment texture, texture coordinate and mapping node. Load the HDRI into the environment texture. Use the mapping node to adjust the direction and the background to adjust the strength. Now we add a few lights to shape the scene. Add an area light for the ground and scale it to the render region. Duplicate it for the top. Finally, add a point light in front. Duplicate it and place it in the back. We are done with the lightning.
Materials.
For this part we use the free add-on Blender Kit. It is a built-in online asset library for Blender that provides models, materials, HDRIs and more. Blender Kit is already integrated into Blender. Go under Edit, Preferences, Get Extensions and search for Blender Kit. After installation, you find it here on this site. Let's start with the silver material. Open Blender Kit, switch to the Material tab and search for Procedural Silver. Apply it to all metal parts. First material, done. Let's move on to the pink plastic material. Search for Sweet Plastic. Apply it to the Kirby body. The material already looks good, but we can push it a bit further. First, lower the roughness so the surface feels glossy. To add more color variation, replace the color input with a color ramp and reuse a few different pink tones to break up the surface. To give the material more depth, add a Fresnel node for edge highlights. Now we need more shadows on the model, especially around the mouth. To get that, we recreate an ambient occlusion effect using a mix shader, a color ramp, and the ambient inclusion node. Use the black slider in the color ramp to control how strong the shadow effect is. Perfect. Now we reuse this material for the Kirby text. To get separate control over the next materials, duplicate the material and create a new version for the feet and the remaining text frames. For these materials, the only thing you need to adjust are the colors in the color ramp and the ambient inclusion intensity to fine-tune the overall look. For the star, tongue, cheeks and eyes, copy the existing material and replace the color ramp with a color node to set the base color. For the eyes, create a new material, use the color ramp with blue and dark tones, combined with texture coordinate and mapping nodes. Adjust the mapping until it matches the reference artwork. To make the keychain pop, we add some glow. Render one image by pressing F12, jump into compositing, search for fog glow, and tweak the threshold until it feels right. And that's it, we are done with the materials.
Animation.
Let's animate the keychain. First, set the timeline to 150 frames. Select the Kirby and the chain, convert them to a mesh and join them. Do the same for the 3D text and replace the objects to something like this. Set now the origin to 3D cursor of both objects and press Command A to apply all transforms. To animate everything together, we need now an empty. After it, press A to select everything. Select the empty in the end, Command and P and choose Object Keep Transform. Select the empty, set the rotation keyframe, go to frame around 90, rotate it on Y and set another keyframe. Now we animate the Kirby object. Go with the animation slider to frame 80, set the location and rotation keyframe, switch the animation slider to frame 120 and adjust the values however you like and set another keyframe. Repeat the same process for the text and we are done with the animation.
Render settings.
Finally, the render settings. We push Eevee today close to Cycle's quality. The only difference is the render time. Let's start with the shadows. Set shadow rays to 3 and steps to 16. Under fast GI approximation, set steps to 16 and distance to 2. Set a check mark under motion blur. Now the setting that changed everything. In color management, switch view to filmic and choose medium high contrast. And in the end, add a volume light probe, scale it over the entire object and bake the light cage. This gives you proper indirect lighting like Cycles, but inside Eevee. From here just rendering and export. Got any theme suggestions? Drop them in the comments or send me your theme related artwork examples on social media. Thank you for watching, see you next week.